I'm here in lovely Foxburg, Pennsylvania, just located off the banks of the Allegheny River. Population just slightly under 200. However, that may be about to change as we are here for the much anticipated Eastern States Rock Art Conference. Happens every 2 years. So that population of just under 200 might even make it to just over 200 by the end of the weekend. We're going to get together with a bunch of rock art researchers, spend some time in the woods looking at petroglyphs. Sounds like a wonderful weekend to me.
The Eastern State Rock Art Research Association held their conference on August 1st through 3rd in the lovely Foxburg, Pennsylvania in 2024. The purpose, to listen and learn about rock art, petroglyphs, and pictographs amongst a group of like-minded colleagues and share new information and listen to their speeches and presentations. How was the experience embraced by the attendees?
That was very, very cool. That's definitely worth a picture and a video, which is what I'm taking. Very cool.
Those simple words were spoken by Amelia Zitka. She's a Wisconsin transplant to North Carolina and a writer of Trace. It's a recording of petroglyphs and mound areas in North Carolina and that region. Simply put, too cool not to photograph or video. I thank her for the many following clips. Those words best describe many of the petroglyphs that we were able to see on the second day. Amelia was one of 40 attendees at the conference. The addition of these 40 attendees added to the whopping population, which is typically 180 people. It's a quaint little town of Foxburg, and it's located on the east bank of Allegheny River, at the mouth of the Clarion River. But Foxburg offers more than a small town atmosphere and privacy. It features petroglyph sites within driving distance for others to experience. In fact, we were able to see 3 different rock art locations on our field trip day. Parker's Landing being one of those sites. It's only accessible typically about 3 months out of the year when water levels drop. After most of the year having minimal rainfall and allowing some of us to prep and be sure that the path to the petroglyph rocks was clear-cut, laid out safe as possible, and ready to visit, as well as the rocks were cleaned off enough that you could see the glyphs. It rained, so the water level came up a little. Probably the first rain in over 100 days, but it was okay. Wet, muggy, but still able to see most of the petroglyphs at Parker's Landing. The field trip went off without a hitch. Let's look at our field trip locations. First up, Rainbow Rocks, and we'll listen in as archaeologist and researcher Ken Burkett talks about the site.
There's a human figure at the bottom here. Right here is the head, the body, the arms, and the one hand is touching this snake figure. Turkey track. Okay. Another snake figure here. More turkey tracks between them, and there's a third snake figure over there. The third one, somebody built a campfire underneath and actually cooked a piece of this rock off. It's not here. And that was done after Swagger recorded the site. So the damage continues. Our archaeology chapter put the sign up over here that identifies the site and asks people to protect it. And since that time, there hasn't been anything going on here. So sometimes, marking them that way a little bit may help.
Yeah.
Before that, it was almost a common occurrence. If you come back here, there was new spray paint on the site.
Rainbow Rocks was recorded in detail by James Swagger in around 1971. It was recently reassessed with improved recordings and photogrammetry, and you'll see some updates on that soon. The pectin-grooved images are visible on the north wall of this rock shelter, and they include a human figure with an arm extended upwards, 2 snake-like carvings coming down with one touching the human figure's outstretched arm, and it also has several turkey tracks or bird carvings as well. To say exactly what these carvings represent is pure conjecture, as nothing has been passed down in written or oral tells and traditions. They're long gone by this point. So, does this represent the Thunder Boy reaching up and touching a bolt coming down from the cloud on top? Or, who knows? The bottom part of the rock shelter has actually been damaged by prior blazing camping inferno. So, as described by Ken, the bottom section was cooked off, and some of the areas may have been lost over the years to painting and other vandalism. Other modern carvings also exist on the rock shelter and the surrounding rocks, such as names, dates, initials, a deer's head, and a modern elephant carving. And no, it's not a mammoth, nor is it old enough to be indigenous. This fact has been confirmed and verified with extensive research by experts in the field. There's also a Snoopy carving nearby. Does that mean that we actually had a dog flying around in a doghouse? No, but that would be far more interesting in claiming the carving is a mammoth. It's never been a mystery or even doubted that mammoths existed long ago in some parts of western PA. Our second stop was Traister Petroglyphs site. It's a more unique site. It lies on what would probably have been an indigenous pathway or trail. It's been identified by a family who were attending a local talk and told the speaker about a set of dinosaur tracks on a rock at their family farm. Upon researching it, Mr. Burkett identified the turkey tracks, deer tracks, and a few other features that were on the exact rock. That rock also represents an opportunity for possible small excavation that was completed. Many indigenous artifacts were found there by the family prior to that small excavation. As you'll see in the upcoming clip, one of the fancy ways to highlight these petroglyphs for better viewing is by shading with light and also by using water to wet down in the grooves. Let's listen in on the conversation on Traister Rocks.
Right here. And then there's another big turkey track right here.
And you said deer track?
Yeah, the deer tracks are two, there's three sets of them, just the two.
Well, what did she think were dinosaur tracks?
She thought these turkey tracks were
So
dinosaurs.
Ken, before we wet it down,
And this,
Ken, before we wet it down, we have a shade and a light you can put on it.
okay, you can try.
Yeah, let's do that before the wedding.
The family tree and then the wings coming, it's really hard to see.
Ken, are those the spirit lines you talked about in your book?
What's that?
Spirit lines on the
No,
wings?
these are just animal tracks.
The spirit lines mentioned are a very important feature in rock art, and it was an excellent question regarding those spirit or heart lines. I've highlighted what an actual spirit line or heart lines look like in the attached pictures. The line extending outside to the inner body denotes immortal or spirit beliefs that indigenous people have.
This is your X right here.
Yeah, the X is right here.
What's this?
That's another turkey track.
That's another.
Deer tracks and turkey tracks are up in here,
I think there's a small one here, you're absolutely right.
and
Picked
then
it out more than I
bird
can.
wing is over in that part.
Some of them.
So you can see the turkey track right here.
They look like they're cut with
Yeah.
Another one right here. Here, here,
We find human footprints on
here.
bigger sites.
The turkey tracks, can actually wet them in. Right there.
And mostly in southwestern PA.
What do you think caused that, Brian?
That's
Here?
just natural weathering of probably the iron and might have been a softer mineral in there, some clay
There's
stones.
an X right here.
That's a fossil there. It's actually a plant fossil.
Here?
Yep.
And the other turkey track is right
Been like a woody type of plant. I'm the geologist, but Ken knows more about fossils than me.
Where's the deer track?
He can tell you the names of them.
Yeah, I see it now.
here, right here.
Yeah, it's actually pretty deep. You wouldn't know it. It's got a little.
Yeah, these have
Oh,
a
that's
very
not so
long,
bad.
My geology work is
very long.
So
they each one of them.
Could be eagle. Can you determine between eagle and
Thunderbird, I don't know.
Thunderbird, yeah, that's what we're wondering.
We call them turkey tracks, but yeah, they're probably representative of something else altogether.
Does it curve off to the side?
Oh, heron
Like
tracks.
a heron track?
I don't know if this would be a heron spot, would it?
Traister Rock is also very unique in that it was first officially recorded only 41 years ago by Ken Burkett, after a tip by the family regarding the strange markings that they observed on the rock at the farm. The small team of Tom Rabbit, Ken Burkett, and Brian Fritz set about and did a very small excavation at that site as well. And I believe results are still pending on several items at this time. What's next? The third and final stop highlighted Parker's Landing, and it is nearby the site of the conference in Foxburg, and it highlights over 160 plus separate petroglyphs that have been identified with minimal modern carvings and no vandalism interfering. Timber Adventures was happy to travel along on some of these petroglyph locations and help with some simple field assistant work to make it easier to photograph and record these unique sites. Parker is a crowning jewel site. It's located on a unique site of a long-term habitation. It's estimated that these sites are from 1,000 to 1,500 years old and possibly a bit older, and most likely pecked and grooved over time with the Monongahela people. These would have been carvings that they would possibly gone back over year after year at a time of gathering in that location. It is often thought by some that these were carved by shaman or holy man, but that too is merely guessing. It's possible that others took part in these carvings as well. As we know, some locations where indigenous women carved. Lakota, I believe, in the South Dakota region, and they would carve in almost a meditative state. Who's to say exactly who took part in the festivities, which obviously were held in high regards? Let's look at a few individual carvings at this location. Mississippi is the underwater panther, and he's a popular one because he's large, highly detailed, and he's found at several other Pennsylvania glyph locations. He features a clear heart or spirit line as well. He's truly unique. Another rock nearby the panther has an insane amount of individual carvings, birds, animal tracks, and lots of representations of people, including a few where people believe the figures represent a woman who gave birth or is pregnant. In rock art, there's a very common theme of people seeing fertility signs, especially the vulva, almost a preoccupation. And once again, we can look at these suggestions and keep in mind we'll never know exactly what they're representing at the time. For the indigenous eye appears to be far more clear than the standard, even some modern-day pareidolia individuals who may see Phoenicians around every corner carving. Let's not go there. The sacred river otter. It appears to represent a spirit animal and contains a heart or spirit line. It's pecked and grooved and over 9 foot long.
The author noted previously unrecorded attributes including an obvious eye, whiskers, lobed feet, genitalia, and 14 additional spirit bands crossing the body and tail.
I would like to thank Amelia Zitka once again for the various videos that she shared. In working with her, she's become a bit of a research compadre where we can share ideas and we bounce thoughts off one another and learn from each other's unique experiences in the different areas. It's also conferences like these that allow researchers and people who are interested in these topics to come together to learn, and we thank the many attendees for their contributions that they brought and shared as well. Without these groups, this small niche group would have a smaller audience and very little information to go by. These conferences provide many speeches, presentations, and it's a great learning opportunity as well as some social networking. If you're interested in indigenous petroglyphs and rock carvings, check out our other videos that we have done before.